guys, just a little update for me. Apologies, I do look a bit rough. I've not put any makeup on because I'm due to go to a run later. Um, since I've obviously made this video, I have reflected a lot of what I said in it, and I want to tell you a little bit more about that last time. I think so the wording I used, the explanations I used. I think what I want you to know is there is no fix, there is no cure. It's just how we deal with it and how we choose to deal with it. And that's what I want to explain with you next video. See you soon. Bye. Now, when I first became aware I had anxiety, I sort of looked upon it years later, and I realised that I possibly did suffer it before then. So this is just the point where I actually got told, okay, you suffer with it. So I would have been 21 years old when I got diagnosed with anxiety. And I was in a pretty rough relationship at the time. My self-esteem was so low, my confidence. And what happened was 2 days before myself and my ex, we broke up. I went to the doctors. I couldn't stop crying. I just felt so low. I was really like trying to look for something to try and make me feel better as well. And I couldn't really find it. There was nothing there that, I just wanted that happiness. And that's all I could think of was I was really in need of happiness and just contentness and feeling settled, and I didn't feel settled at all. So before we split up, 2 days before, I went to the doctors, and the doctor said, you're suffering with anxiety. I remember it pretty briefly. He then got me to go on to medication. I can't remember what medication it was. I think it was the Talipram. 2 days later, obviously, me and my partner at the time, we split up. I was absolutely heartbroken. And then this is when, I don't know, I really realised, obviously, I suffered with anxiety because I went to such a low. I mean, I moved back home. I didn't even want to go and get my stuff out of the house. Nothing. I think I hit a depression. I didn't try and fight it either, so it wasn't really helpful because it was the first time I'd ever experienced anything like that. For 3 weeks, I was off work. My mum, my nan and my sister, they basically took care of me completely. So I do look back at that point and think, wow. Now, the first initial place I went for help obviously was the doctors. And then I'd never really heard of like CBT, cognitive behaviour therapy before, but I was waiting for that. So my tablets got put up, I got put on diazepam, just to calm myself because I was really stressed and really crying and I couldn't sleep, nothing. So then I got referred to cognitive behavioural therapy, which obviously you have to wait for if you go through the NHS. Now, the waiting list then weren't as long as it is now. I mean, it must have been about 4 or 5 weeks. And within them 4 or 5 weeks, though, I met somebody else. So things started to really improve with me. But the problem was, like, thinking back on the area, all I focused about getting better was somebody else fixing me, finding somebody else to make me happy. So my cognitive behavioural therapy possibly didn't work to the extent I thought it could have maybe years later, but at the time I thought, oh yeah, it's working, it's brilliant. So obviously I got with somebody else, that didn't work out, and I thought that was the only time I'd ever suffered with anxiety and depression. And you do think that. I think the first time it sort of hits you, you think, oh, it's just to do with what's going on in my life right now. So I didn't suffer with it for quite a few years then, and I was sort of in that relationship. And a lot of mine, my sort of attributes are I look for happiness, and yeah, I suppose in a way that's somebody there in my life that then I think that then fixes me, and it doesn't. A little bit about myself: I fall very quickly, and I let my life out too quickly, and it's something as I've got older. I mean, it's taken me 9 or 8 years now to actually start changing them attributes and that I carry, just because then it will affect my mental health in a lot better way. So going back then, so I think I was okay with my anxiety for about a year. I never would open up about what happened. I didn't dare let people know what that side of me was like. I came off the antidepressants, and and you think that's it, never going to suffer with it again. And then I happily then settled down with my next partner, moved in together, and it wasn't until I would say about 9-10 months after us sort of living together that thoughts started creeping in again. That feeling really self-conscious, really low, and the self-esteem. Again, I was kind of shocked, and I really felt unloved. And I wouldn't discuss this either. I wouldn't actually have a conversation because I was so adamant I didn't want to speak to my partner because I didn't want to have an argument, and all I could think about was the worst. And as anxiety goes, we do go to worst case scenario. We don't go to the little bits in between. We just go to the worst case scenario. And this time I didn't go to the doctors. I think I literally just went through the CBT route again. And sort of looked at really working on myself, and then eventually I let my partner know. I mean, I had no end of friends to support me, so I used to talk to them more, my family. But in my head, it was as if my head was saying, you need to leave, you need to get out. You just need to leave. I can't do this anymore. That's what my head was saying to me. My heart obviously was telling me otherwise, but it was just horrendous. I mean, I got to say to that I was going to the gym so much. All I was thinking about was this self-confidence side of me and making myself look better, and so that my partner would possibly love me more and I'd feel more loved, and a mad time really. And yeah, so I went back to CBT and got myself better. I think it was CBT. Yeah, it must have been CBT I had, and then I also had like some sort of group classes, and then this was through Lincolnshire, a sort of mental health scheme at the time. Again, you have to wait a while for it. And the best thing that worked for me was actually talking to my partner. Now, I have overcome this a lot since, obviously I know I'm 8 years on, but the only way I could talk to him was by writing it down. This was my friend's idea, actually, to be fair. So I wrote it down on a bit of paper exactly what I wanted to tell him. He did not realise I was suffering at all. Like we say though, not a lot of people do realise when you are suffering, so unless you tell somebody, they really don't know. So a couple of my friends knew. I think that was about it really. So yeah, I wrote it down and I told him, and I was really surprised about how much he was okay about it. He understood. Yeah, and that really helped me. That really helped me sort of get through it and get over it. And that's what I carried on to do. And again, I thought that was it. I'd never suffer with it again. It was just a little fallback. And I started to open up to him a little bit about when I'd suffered with depression a few years beforehand. But you know how this goes. So a year or so later, again, this time it was worse. This time it was a lot deeper. This time it got to the stage where I felt like I can't deal with this anymore. Like I can't cope. And I remember saying to him, I would rather be dead than feel this way. I mean, he was absolutely like mortified that I'd even said that. And I knew that I wouldn't do anything like that, but like to the stage of the overthinking, the putting yourself down, the worst case scenario, all of that, I just couldn't cope. And I couldn't cope with actually talking to him about my emotions, and what I was thinking in my mind and why I was thinking it. And I didn't understand it myself either. So this time I did actually go to the doctors, and I did get put on antidepressants. And I remember my auntie was around a lot for me. I'd go straight to my auntie. I don't know why, but well, I do know why, but I suppose I don't really go to my immediate family because I knew my auntie could possibly help me a little bit more than my immediate family. So I would speak to my auntie quite a little bit. And yeah, my family and friends were worried. And I was adamant I would come off of these tablets and I would get better. But obviously at the same time I didn't really feel like it, and it was kind of like World War II at home, because I was trying to discuss how I was feeling but I couldn't. It was really difficult. So again, I then got put onto antidepressants. I didn't go back to CBT. I just went to like a little sort of class that taught you how to deal with anxious thoughts and anxiety. And the doctor said, okay, they do like this little quiz to basically, is it a GAD quiz that they figure out whether you're suffering from anxiety, depression, and what extent you're suffering from each as well. So yeah, it was I was in quite a depressive state and a very, very anxious state. And my anxiety always kind of beats my depression up until most recently. So I feel like, yeah, I've got so much I could tell you. And that was the first time I became aware of it, really. Again, it was the thoughts, it was the overthinking, the feeling really rubbish in myself and feeling like I weren't good enough and I weren't loved enough. And that is something I want to discuss with you, obviously, next time. Jumping a bit to now, quite recently I've been going back to therapy. I do pay for it now, just because once I found having like a private therapist a year ago or so really worked. I just want to really self-develop myself and figure out things, and a lot of it does come from my childhood, which is going to be different for all of us. Childhood relationships, like with my friends and families, partners, everything like that, are a big trigger, because it triggers my anxiety. Like, am I good enough? Am I doing right there, or have I upset them? Yeah, it's a bit mad. Well, it's not a bit mad. It's just who we are. So, I wanted to share with you a self-esteem log. Now, this self-esteem log was given to me by my counsellor, but then I sort of amended it and sort of made it so I could actually use it all and share it with everybody. And now the aim of this self-esteem log is to write at least 3 skills you have demonstrated within a day. Don't force them, just be aware and log them. So this will help your self-esteem. And not only will this just help your self-esteem, it will also help you sort of look at things and think, oh, okay, yeah, I have done that today. I have helped somebody here and I have used this skill. So, for example, you'll have like a when. So I've put on here example, 4th September 2020. What happened? I phoned my grandma. That happens every day. Meaning and comments, what skill and quality is this? So obviously my meaning was I phoned her because I love her and I care for her. And the skill and quality there, and you pick it from the list, is you're kind, you're caring, you're warm, thoughtful, mature, loyal, and assertive. And I've put assertive as even though I'm busy, I try and make the time as much as I can. Now you have to look at the feedback, and this is the feedback that you've been received, like you've got from it, from the other person. So my nanny's happy that I call her, and always say so. If I video call her, I then also see her smiling. Now this is the non-verbal side of it. And obviously, how does that make you feel? So I was pleased with myself that I take the time out for her. Now I'm going to share this in my bio and in my chat below as well, so that you can see it. And I just hope it will help you guys. And next upload that I do, I would like to discuss further on the awareness and what you can do, what I did really to help myself within this area. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, guys. I will be no longer sort of sharing things on social media from this video. So if you do want to keep up to date, do just subscribe to my my YouTube, sorry. I don't look at this video after, by the way, so all the mistakes come on. Yeah, so you just subscribe so you can actually see my notifications when I do a video. I don't want to bog everyone down with my YouTube updates on social media sites. So anyway, guys, have a nice evening and I shall speak to you soon.